Katie graduated from Ball State University in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in elementary education and a minor in autism behavioral studies. She has been teaching kindergarten at Pleasant View since the fall of 2021. When Katie's not in the classroom, she loves spending time with her family, especially her cousins, who she's very close with. She also enjoys reading, going to concerts, and taking walks with her dog, Daisy. Katie says the most rewarding part of teaching is having the opportunity each year to build our own little classroom family. I love getting to know my students and their unique, fun personalities, which makes every day exciting. Watching their growth and transformation over the course of the year is truly why I love what I do. Katie, congratulations for being here. Next, please welcome Elise Gall. Zionsville Community Schools alumna, graduating in 2020. She graduated from Ball State University in 2024 with a Bachelor of Science in Education after completing dual elementary education and special education majors and a minor in applied behavior analysis. Elise enjoys listening to audiobooks and just recently learned how to embroidery. She loves puzzles, finding trinkets at Goodwill, and enjoys spending time with her dog, Basil. Elise says, "For me, the most rewarding piece of my profession is getting to see little wins from students each day and seeing the growth they show throughout the year. This, as well as the relationships I have formed with my colleagues, who are now my friends, motivate me to show up as my best self each day." Elise, congratulations. Help me welcome Lisa Mueller from Trailside Elementary. Lisa attended St. Mary's College in South Bend, Indiana, where she graduated with a degree in elementary education with a concentration in reading instruction and a minor in sociology. Lisa's been married to her husband John for 23 years, and they have 3 amazing children: Jenna, a junior at IU, Zach, a freshman at IU, and Joey, who's an 8th grader, and their German Shepherd, Cooper. She enjoys reading, finding cozy coffee shops to visit, and traveling with her family. Lisa says, "The most rewarding aspect of my profession is the opportunity to build relationships with my students and learn alongside them all year. I enjoy the way we can teach each other new things and how we learn to ask thoughtful questions along the way." Lisa, congratulations on being Trailside. Help me welcome Sarah Abu-Uman. Sarah graduated from Indiana University with a bachelor's in elementary education. She completed her master's degree at DePaul University in International Studies with a comparative education, school leadership, and curriculum development. Sarah earned a Fulbright teacher exchange for her academic merit and school leadership, which allowed her to teach in London, England. She earned her early literacy endorsement just last year. Sarah has a son, Adam, and a daughter, Nora, who attend Union Elementary. She enjoys spending time with her husband and family and friends. She loves traveling and experiencing new things and has traveled to every continent in the world except Antarctica and Australia. She's also the 9th granddaughter of Pocahontas. Sarah finds the greatest rewards in teaching in those meaningful moments when students begin to believe in themselves and grow curious about the world around them. It might look like a student falling in love with reading, leaning into a thoughtful discussion, or beaming with pride over their work. Those moments are what make Sarah's work so deeply fulfilling. She also feels a strong sense of purpose in supporting teachers and watching their growth ripple outward into positive experiences for students. Being able to partner each day with teachers, students, and families is something Sarah truly values and cherishes. Sarah, congratulations on being Welcome, Jennifer Hall from Zionsville Middle School. elementary education from St. Norbert College in Wisconsin. She also completed minors in early childhood development and English. Later, she completed post-bachelor coursework at Northeastern Illinois University and Chicago State University, earning a certification in special education. She has worked in educational settings in Wisconsin, Chicagoland, and Texas. Jennifer resides in Zionsville with her husband and 2 daughters. Her oldest daughter, Ava, is a freshman at Clemson University and made it, I think, here tonight.
She did, an hour ago.
And her younger daughter, Lila, is a freshman at Zionsville High School. Throughout her career, Jennifer's been deeply committed to fostering safe, supportive, and inclusive classroom environments where students feel safe, valued, and empowered. Jennifer believes strongly in helping students develop independence and confidence regardless of their background or socioeconomic status. One of her greatest joys as an educator is witnessing students experience the aha moment, when understanding clicks and seeing their confidence grow as they recognize their own abilities and unique ways of learning. Jennifer, congratulations on being Zionsville University. Elizabeth Selm, Zionsville West Middle School. Of Arts from Purdue University, specializing in severe emotional handicaps, mild mental disabilities, and learning disabilities. She lives in Zionsville with her husband Matt and their 2 sons. Will's a sophomore at Purdue. Ethan is a junior at Zionsville. Cooking, baking, and reading. Her favorite things to make are sourdough bread and spicy dill pickles. She's terrible at finishing a TV series, but still doesn't want anyone to tell her what happens, just in case. In the summer, she loves to sit in the middle of her garden and listen to the bees buzzing. Elizabeth says this: "I was drawn to teaching because I enjoy learning and having the opportunity to help others learn. I continue to be a teacher, not only for the enjoyment of seeing students use the skills they worked so hard to learn, but also for the relationships with students, families, and school staff. I look forward to going to work every day because even on the hardest days, really good things happen." Elizabeth, congratulations on being Zionsville. Don Makeley, Zionsville Community High School. Don received a Bachelor's of Science, or Bachelor's in Biology and Chemical Science from Xavier University, and a PhD in Organic Chemistry from Vanderbilt University. She met her husband, Arup, in graduate school at Vanderbilt, and they have 2 amazing kids, Neil and Anya, and a house full with 3 pets, a cat named Tonks, and 2 cockatiels named Ricky and Pip. She loves them all times infinity, which is their family saying. In her free time, she enjoys reading, getting outside, and spending time with her family. Dawn says, "The most rewarding part of teaching is seeing students realize what they are capable of. I love those moments when something finally clicks, or who didn't think they were a science person starts to gain confidence. I was drawn to education because I love science and learning, but what keeps me here is the energy of the classroom, the relationship with students, and the chance to help them grow as people. I believe learning should be engaging and enjoyable, involve curiosity, laughter, and a sense of wonder about how the world works." Dawn, congratulations on being Zionsville. Well, as you might imagine, our selection committee had a huge task before them to read all of our amazing teachers' essays. The selection committee this year was comprised of individuals who live in the community, care greatly about our schools, but don't have children currently in the school system or not employed by the school system. They have varying backgrounds, such as a ZCHS alumni, local business leaders, teachers, an accountant, and retired college professor. They pored over the nominees' essays for about 3 weeks, reading them multiple times over and over and over. They all say, "Wow, that was really hard and really wonderful." One committee member wanted me to share this with all of you. What an amazing group of educators. They are all deserving of this award. I'm glad this is a group decision because I couldn't make it myself. Zionsville Community Schools is blessed to have this level of dedication and experience teaching and nurturing our youth. And if this is just a sample of the quality of teaching in this district, then the whole community is blessed. So, on that note, let me introduce and congratulate our 2026 District Teacher of the Year, Dawn Makeley from Zionsville. I do have a gift from our local Zionsville Chamber of Commerce for our Teacher of the Year as well.
Let's give our teachers a
Good evening, board members and everyone in the audience. Thank you for being here. This is always such a wonderful board meeting to celebrate our Teachers of the Year, our milestone service employees, and our retirees. We'd first like to recognize our milestone service employees. We have 36 employees with 10 years of service. These employees, whose names are on the screen, represent employees from across the district and work as administrators, teachers, instructional assistants, paraprofessionals, bus drivers, plumbers, mechanics, preschool leads and assistants, and food service managers. These employees will all be recognized at their buildings and department staff meetings. A round of applause for our attendance. We have 16 employees with 20 years of service. Dan Layton's our Chief Technology Officer. Gil Spears is a business teacher at the high school. Amy Ertl is a 5th grade. Carrie Deanhart is a bus driver. Rebecca Hampton is a music teacher at PBE. Baby Brandow is a STEM coach at PBE. Leslie Darby is a 1st grade teacher at PBE. Sarah Thornley is a special education teacher at the high school. Is a 5th to 8th grade teacher at ZMS. Jennifer Morrison is a special ed teacher at the high school. Cassie Petroselli is a counselor at the high school. Liz Leatherberry is a music teacher, band teacher at ZWMS. Beth Simpson's a paraprofessional here at the high school. Sarah Livengood is a special education teacher at Z West. And Rhonda Fox is our data specialist here at the DSC. We have 5 employees. We have 5 employees who have been here here for 30 years, and we'd like to recognize those employees at this meeting here. So if you could come up. Ms. Zionsville is a fourth grade teacher. Ms. Jan Swander is our principal. Ms. Angie Fritz is the wellness teacher at graduating and beyond for 30 years. Cindy King is a secretary. And Miss Patty McNally is now a bus driver, but she but we congratulate her on her service. We have 3 employees who we are recognizing for 40 years of service. And you will see both of them again in just a minute, as the principal will talk about that. And then we have Mr. Randy Smith. Mr. Seward is a Project Lead the Way teacher at ZMS, and in his 40 years, he has also been a robotics coach, a football coach, and a softball coach throughout the years, many multiple times. So. And now we'd like to recognize our retirees, and I will call on our administrators to come and talk about their retirees. But this year we have 19 people who are retiring this year. And I'll have their principals come and say a few words about them. All of our retiring employees will be honored with a brick with their name in the Eagle Plaza, which is on the north side here at the high school. So first I'd like to invite Erin Kay.
Hi, Tanya, come on up. I don't know where we are first. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. When we celebrate teachers, we show up. It's pretty impressive. Good evening, Dr. Kaufman, Board of School Trustees. Thank you for being here tonight, and I'm honored to celebrate these extraordinary educators. I have the privilege of celebrating Tanya Clark. For more than 27 years, she has served Zionsville Community Schools. She has impacted the lives of countless students and families through her dedication, compassion, and commitment. Tanya began her teaching career as a first grade teacher at Eagle in 1991, where she taught 7 years before stepping away to focus on raising her children. But even during that season of her life, education and service remained close to her heart, so she returned to ZCS, serving a variety of important roles, such as an instructional assistant, a permanent sub, maternity leave teacher. She worked at Pleasant View and Union. And then in 2008, Tanya officially joined Union Elementary as a third grade teacher, a role she has continued to serve with distinction for the past 18 years. Tanya frequently references the idea of giving students both roots and wings. What a beautiful metaphor that speaks to her belief in grounding children with a strong foundation. Isn't that the goal? While also encouraging them to explore, take risks, and discover their potential. What stands out about Tanya is not only her impact on students, but also the way she supports those around her. She is a respected colleague and a steady source of encouragement for her team. That respect was especially evident last year when she was nominated by her peers as Union's Teacher of the Year. Her colleagues recognized the leadership and the guidance she provided as our staff implemented a brand new literacy curriculum. Tanya was someone that others turned to not only for her expertise, but for her calm presence and willingness to help. Personally, one of the things I will miss most about Tanya is our honest conversations about how we can best support Union students and staff. Tanya always approached those conversations with care, honesty, and a genuine desire to help others succeed. She has a special way of advocating for people while always leading with kindness and respect. Tanya's influence also extends beyond her own classroom and career. She's mentored and inspired her own daughter, who now carries on that legacy as a teacher at Trailside. What a powerful reflection of the example Tanya has set, not only as an educator, but as a role model. Tanya, thank you for your years of service, your dedication to your students, and the countless ways you have strengthened our Union School. Congratulations on an extraordinary career and a very well-deserved retirement. You have a couple more minutes with me, I apologize. Well, tonight we celebrate Krista Luke. What an incredible impact she has made throughout her career in education. To know Krista is to know just how deeply she cares about children. Everything she does is rooted in relationships, kindness, and creating a classroom where every child feels safe, valued, and capable of success. Krista runs her classroom on kindness. It's not just a lesson she teaches, it's the culture she creates every single day. Her students know they are cared for, encouraged, and expected to care for one another as well. And of course, anyone who knows Krista also knows there's a little magic woven into her classroom. From Fred the alien living in the ceiling tiles, to surprise visits from Mrs. Duke, reminding students to stay focused and to do their best. Krista has always found creative and joyful ways to engage children and to make learning memorable. Krista's special touches are about so much more than just having fun. She creates a classroom environment where kids thrive, where students feel connected, excited to learn, and confident in themselves. She supports children in everything they do, from attending soccer games, musicals, to other events outside of the school, to supporting them in the classroom. That is Krista's gift. Over the last 8 years at Union Elementary, Krista has left a lasting mark on our school community. And across an impressive career spanning more than 30 years. So it says 8 years there, but it's really 30 years. 3 states and over 1,800 students. Her influence has reached far beyond the 4 walls of her classroom. Think about the lives she's shaped, the confidence she has built, and the kindness she has modeled for generations of children. And we were honored she built this kind of legacy at Union Elementary. Krista, thank you for your dedication, your compassion and passion, your creativity, and your unwavering love for kids. Your impact will continue long after retirement. Through the thousands of students whose lives are better because they had you as their teacher, congratulations on an amazing career and your retirement. Thank you. Okay, here we go. One more. What an honor it is to recognize Sharon Boggs. We get to celebrate her incredible career of service to children, families, and the education profession. As I reflected on Sharon's impact as I was writing this review, I kept coming back to something she says, which is, I'm a word nerd with my kids. She likes words, and so do her kids. So tonight, I'd like to honor Sharon with a few words that I feel describe her as the person that I know her to be and the educator. First, she's dedicated. Sharon has always made time for her students and their individual needs. Her care for her children goes far beyond academics. She sees each child for who they are and helps them feel valued, capable, and loved. She's dedicated to her colleagues and has spent countless hours mentoring new teachers who are here. Some of them are here. Showing them the ropes, encouraging them to never give up. Creative. Sharon has truly brought learning to life in unforgettable ways. From creating the beloved first grade nature day, which is still a tradition we celebrate today, where first graders get to go outside and spend the day out in nature learning, to orchestrating the first ever Biblioboro school visit, which was hugely popular, and to our very first Cinderella ball. Sharon is always thinking about how to create magic and meaningful memories for children year after year that not only keep things fun and interesting, but also enhance all that they are learning in the classroom. She's determined. Sharon approaches life with adventure and determination. She spent a recent birthday riding her bike across America, which is a phenomenal feat.
Indiana.
Indiana. But I've done the Horsey 100. That's huge. Yes. Riding her bike across Indiana. Incredible. And then this past winter, she traveled to Italy to experience the Winter Olympics. These were just 2 bucket list items where she was determined to accomplish. Sharon reminds us all to stay curious, active, and fully engaged. And with a little or a lot of determination, like she has, we can accomplish anything. And she's a dreamer. Sharon is never afraid to dream big and to chase big dreams. As she and her husband Brian prepare to move to their happy place in Florida, she continues to inspire all of us to embrace new adventures and to live life fully. Sharon, you are deeply loved by your students, respected by your colleagues, and admired by this entire community. Thank you for the countless ways you have impacted Union and the lives that you have impacted. Congratulations, Sharon, on your retirement.
Tom Hunley, principal of Boone Meadow.
Good evening, everyone. Board, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to celebrate my friend Becky Proctor. As it is with people we admire, it is difficult to sum up in single words. So, Becky, I want you to know these are words that collectively came from colleagues that love you. And so I'm just going to share how we pulled many of those pieces together. Becky Proctor's impact on Boone Meadow, but also public education, is difficult because for nearly 30 years, she has given herself so much to so many children, families, and colleagues. And when summing it all up, the one thing everyone agrees upon, it is this: Becky is all heart. She cares, always. And so throughout her career, whether she served as an instructional assistant, Title I teacher, temporary special education teacher, to becoming a beloved classroom teacher, Becky has always been student-centered. She saw potential in every single child, no matter the obstacle, and worked tirelessly to ensure each student is seen, valued, safe, and loved. Teaching for Becky was never a profession. It's truly a reflection of who she is. She brought warmth, joy, laughter, and an infectious energy into our building every single day. And her smile could always light up a room, and her storytelling could captivate anyone lucky enough to listen. And breaking out in song could always lighten any mood. She made people feel important, whether it was a student needing encouragement, a colleague needing support, or even a four-legged friend that may have crossed her path. All of these are examples of how Becky cares deeply, genuinely, and wholeheartedly, always. Becky also made Boone Meadow a bright spot by welcoming, hilarious, nurturing, loyal, empathetically, but one of her true characteristics, endlessly kind. She was always ready to lend a hand, listen without judgment, and bring laughter on the busiest of days. So Becky, we thank you for the countless lives you have touched, the joy that you brought our community, and the incredible legacy you leave behind. Your impact will continue for generations through the students you touched, the families you connected with, and your fellow educators you inspired. We're grateful for you, your years of service, and we wish you all the happiness in your next chapter. You will always hold a special place in the heart of Team Meadow. Thank you.
Gary Werner wasn't able to be with us tonight, but we wish him all the best. Dr. Wooden. Mr. Jovanovic was also not able to be with us, but I think Mr. Wooden would like to say.
Good evening, board. Good evening, Zionsville Community Schools community. Thoughtful, resolute, passionate, engaged. I think are words that capture, everybody lovingly calls him Yo. As I sat to think about and try to convince him to be here, he's also no frills, and this is very frilly. That's not a personal, it's definitely how Tim sees it. I tried through multiple emissaries to get him here tonight for us to honor him, and I got the final answer today of no. I won't go into all of our Purdue versus IU back and forth over the 10 years we worked together, but his impact on our school, our students, our student athletes, our team of teachers is insurmountable at Zionsville West, and I know also abroad. So if the group in the room would indulge me for a bit, those of you standing, if you'd raise your hand if this applies to you. Those of you sitting, I'd like you to stand. If you've been on a committee, a coaching staff, we the people person that come and visit Zionsville West, and the teaching team, if you've been connected to Tim Yo somehow over his career or your time here, would you please either stand or if you're in the back, raise your hand. And then Janet, would you mind taking a picture of all of this? We're going to send it to him because I want to honor my friend, and I know he didn't want to be here because this is awful frilly, but I think we need to take this opportunity to honor him for sure. Thank you all.
And Mrs. McDaniel, who will be up here for a little
I'm
while.
gonna be up here for a while. Sadly.
Oh, thank goodness. Well, good evening. Having only been in the district for 2 years, I don't have as much as I'd like experience working with our wonderful retirees. So I enlisted help of your colleagues. Hold on. I'm just kidding. They were kind. Jeanine Roebling could not be here tonight, but I would like to read a little bit about her, if that's okay. Jeanine is consistently one of the first people to step forward when help is needed, no matter the situation or how full her own plate may be. She approaches everything she does with a genuine spirit of collaboration and generosity, making her someone colleagues know they can rely on without hesitation. She brings both insight and positivity to every conversation, helping to elevate her colleagues' thinking while keeping the focus firmly on what is best for students. Her curiosity and professionalism create a ripple effect, encouraging those around her to think more deeply and intentionally about their work. Having had the good fortune to have worked with Jeanine in another district and again at ZCHS, our time together was way too short, but we're all the better for having worked with her. So best wishes, Jeanine. David Krause, could you join us at the podium? Over the past decade at ZCHS, David Krause has dedicated himself to supporting students both inside and outside of the classroom, consistently teaching integrated chemistry and physics while building relationships with students before and after school. Known for his diverse experiences prior to entering education, he brought a unique perspective and welcoming presence that had helped students feel connected and involved. In many ways, David is a student of the science of education. He's never stopped learning how to better serve students, consistently asking thoughtful questions, seeking out collaboration with colleagues, and remaining open to new ideas and approaches. Whether refining instructional strategies or stepping in to support a teammate, he has shown quiet but dependable commitment to the success of both students and staff. Above all, David will be remembered for kindness, steady presence, and genuine care for our community. His willingness to show up for students and colleagues alike has left a lasting impact. And while you'll be greatly missed, we're deeply grateful for your years of service and wish you all the best in your next chapter. I'd like to invite Stacy Haynes up, please. Stacy is wrapping up a remarkable 40-plus years in a career as a speech-language pathologist. A career defined by unwavering commitment to helping students find their voice, both literally and figuratively. Before joining Zionsville Community Schools, she served both private practice and in clinical settings, gaining a breadth of experience supporting communication needs across a wide range of learners. For the past 24 years at Zionsville Community Schools, Stacy has been a trusted and highly respected presence, serving students with consistency, professionalism, and genuine care. She brings joy into her lessons and builds relationships that help students feel safe, understood, and encouraged to take risks in their own communication. Families have long appreciated her ability to explain complex concepts in accessible ways, while also honoring the individuality and potential that each child has. Her influence extends far beyond specific goals or interventions. Over the years, she has helped countless students gain confidence, independence, and a stronger sense of self-expression, skills that will serve them for a lifetime. As she concludes her distinguished career, Stacy leaves behind a legacy of excellence, compassion, and dedication. Her impact is woven into the growth and success of many students and families you've supported and served. Congratulations. Was unable to attend, but if it's okay, I'd like to read a few words about Steve. He's a legend in the science department and at Zionsville Community High School. After 27 years of dedicated service to ZCHS, we are honored to celebrate Steve and the incredible impact he's had on generations of students and staff through teaching biology, forensics, chemistry, AP chemistry, and integrated chemistry and physics. Known for his humor, passion for science, and willingness to take on new opportunities, he's inspired countless students to pursue science-related futures while also mentoring new teachers and even former students who became educators themselves. Beyond the classroom, he supported the Chemistry Olympiad, coached students, helped create memorable lab experiences, and generously shared his experience in instruction, licensure, and lab, and the tie-dye setup, which is going on now. Anyone who's had chemistry knows that the next 2 weeks are very exciting because we do the tie-dye lab. I tie-dye a shirt last year, I'm doing it again this year, it's great fun. Where they're talking science, enjoying the lake and golf, showing off his love for boots, or bringing back some of the waves in his hair, Steve Cripe has left a lasting mark on our school community, and we wish him the very best in his next adventure. I'd like to invite Sarah Essing up to the front. Sarah has been a steady, compassionate presence in the math department and across the ZCHS community. Sarah consistently brings patience and thoughtfulness into her classroom, creating an environment where students feel safe to take risks, ask questions, and grow. Her compassion is not something she demonstrates in moments of difficulty, but something that's woven into her everyday interactions. Students know she believes in them, sometimes before they believe in themselves. Colleagues look to her for wisdom and stability, knowing that she approaches everything with both professionalism and heart. She leads through example by being dependable, reflective, and committed to doing what is best for students. Sarah leaves behind not just a strong record of service in Zionsville Community Schools, but a lasting impact on the people fortunate enough to learn and work alongside her. In the words of colleague Cornelia Gray, Sarah, you are leaving a legacy behind, and it will be difficult not having you as my neighbor anymore. You have taught your classes with great skill, care, and consistently high expectations, and you will be deeply missed by students and colleagues alike. Thank you for teaching all 3 of my boys. They truly appreciated having you as their teacher. You brought kindness, consistency, and a level of expertise to our department, and you were always open to chat when I needed a sounding board or a different perspective. Take care and enjoy your retirement. Congratulations. Mr. Kirkham. Greg Kirkham brings a consistently positive attitude to each and every day. He creates a sense of calm, steadiness, and encouragement for those around him. He approaches any task, no matter how big or small, with a genuine willingness to help. Over his many years of service to ZCHS, Greg has built meaningful and lasting connections with students and staff, becoming a trusted presence throughout our entire school community. His impact is seen in the many roles he has filled with dedication and humility: counselor, coach, athletic event manager, bus driver, mentor, and so much more. In each of these roles, he has gone so far above simply doing the job. Across more than 3 decades in education, Greg has supported thousands of students as they've navigated challenges, celebrated successes, and planned for their futures. His influence extends far beyond any single role or title. Most importantly, to many in the ZCH community, he's a friend whose presence has made the school better, stronger, and more connected. Of course, no tribute would be complete without noting a couple of his signature traits. Namely, his well-documented lack of enthusiasm for AP testing season, and his unwavering loyalty to the Chicago Cubs, a commitment that has required more resilience than most counseling degrees prepare you for. Congratulations, Greg, and go Cards.
Okay.
Mr. Nolan, I refer to this Mr. It's Henry Nolan. Greg No, this is good. After years of dedicated service, no, they were kind to you. After years of dedicated service, Henry Nolan leaves behind a lasting impact on countless students, athletes, and the Zionsville community. His influence cannot be measured only in seasons coached or classes taught, but in the steady presence he brought to the daily life of school and the genuine investment he made in people around him. Henry's commitment extended far beyond the classroom as he consistently showed up to support, guide, and mentor students in every aspect of their growth. On the court and in the halls, he built relationships rooted in care, respect, and high expectations. Students quickly learned that while he genuinely cared about them as individuals, he also expected their very best effort, their accountability, and their commitment to growth. As a coach and educator, Henry had a way of seeing potential in students and athletes even when they struggled to see it in themselves. He helped them develop resilience, learn from setbacks, and understand the value of perseverance. Henry, your legacy will be felt for years to come through the lives that you have influenced and the community that you have strengthened. Your impact is woven into the fabric of Zionsville, not only in the programs you've supported, but in the countless individuals who are better because of your steady presence and unwavering commitment. Best wishes in your next adventures. Now I'd like to invite Bob Brennan to the front. Bob Brennan has left an enduring mark on Zionsville Community High School and the broader Zionsville community through decades of dedicated service in social studies, wrestling, and football. His impact is measured not only in years of service, but in the countless students and athletes who have been shaped by his steady presence, high expectations, and unwavering belief in doing things the right way. In the classroom, Bob brought social studies to life by connecting content to real-world understanding and encouraging students to think critically about their roles as citizens. He challenged students to go beyond memorization and instead engage with ideas in meaningful ways. His teaching reflected the same values he emphasizes everywhere else: effort, accountability, and respect for others. As a coach in both wrestling and football, his athletes learned quickly that success was never just about talent. It was about preparation, perseverance, and the willingness to put the team first. He consistently prioritized character development, helping student athletes understand the importance of integrity both in competitions and life beyond sports. Many of his former athletes recall that the greatest lessons were often not about technique or strategy, but about how to handle adversity, how to respond to setbacks, and how to carry yourself with dignity in both victory and defeat. Bob's commitment extends well beyond the classroom and athletic fields, reflecting a deep commitment and investment in the people and values that define Zionsville. He has helped develop not just successful students and athletes, but individuals who understand the importance of positively contributing to the world around them. Bob, your legacy at ZCHS is one of steadfast dedication, quiet strength, and a lasting impact, one that will continue to be felt for years to come through the lives that you have shaped.
Thank you. I recognize how late it is, so I won't take too long, but I want to thank Dr. Kaufman and the board for all that you've done. Sorry. I just love Zionsville High School, Zionsville Community Schools. Have loved my 31 years here. Somebody was asking me earlier, I've had, give or take, 9,300 kids, not counting kids that I've coached in wrestling and football, D&D club, rugby club, working at different events, middle school wrestling. And I also look out and see a lot of my former students and people that I've had. And I will tell the Teachers of the Year, your first few years are awesome. You're making a huge difference. But you won't know that difference until you get to the last 15 and you start seeing those kids come back and their siblings are coming into your classroom, or their kids are coming into your classroom, or a former student moves into the house next to you with 2 kids, and you start really seeing the impact. And our community is wonderful, and our board and all of our leadership and the people that I work with. I love you all, and I thank you very much.
I'd like to invite Dr. Smith.
Good evening, board and community, Zionsville community, and all my PVE people. And in the back, thanks for having us. And we're going to celebrate Michelle Walters. Michelle and I started this journey together 9 years ago, but she actually beat me to PVE because I believe you were a sub for a while and then an IA after that. And I just don't know what we're going to do without you in the Media Center. Michelle is so dedicated, so passionate about opening up the world to children through books. And her work with building a collection is going to be really hard to beat. And she has done such an amazing job year after year. Not just that, but her stories that she picks out to help all students really know and feel that they belong, to see someone reflected like them in the books that she reads. And she also does an incredible job with all the other things, like she does our student-led announcements, she has a bookmark challenge. I mean, Michelle is just a steadfast person that you can depend on with a huge heart for kids and for our teaching staff. And I wish her all the best in her new chapter of being grandma more and all of the plans that you have moving forward. And I just thank you for your 9 years plus that you have given Pleasant View, all the children, the staff, and our community. Thank you, Michelle. All right, now on to, let's see here, Renee Frost. It's hard to talk about Mrs. Friday, not Miss Navik at the same time, but I'm going to do my best. Oh my heavens, first I have to Oh, Renee, wow, 40 years. 40 years. Eagle Elementary, but actually her journey began before that because you grew up in Zionsville, and your mother was is a retired teacher from Zionsville. And she is now a teacher as well. So anyway, it's a family business with the Fries. And but Renee, oh my goodness, what are we going to do without you? You are the big piece of the heart of Pleasant View Elementary, and your warmness, your care, everything you do with a smile on your face. Even when you're like, how in the world am I gonna do that? I can do it. I can do it. I mean, I heard that so many times, and Renee, it's true. I thank you for your dedication, for all the things you put into motion that I don't even know about. I mean, that you started at Pleasant View way back, that are just things we do all the time now. They're great for kids. So I am so excited for you on your next chapter, and I hope that you'll still be coming around and seeing us. Going to help the first grade teachers. That's what they do. And I love it. And I just want to thank you, Renee, because you have made an impact on so many children and families in this community, and it goes on and on and on, and all that you have done and all the years you have given. And it's not just the days, we know that. Those of us that are in this business, you take it home, you're thinking about, you're praying about, you're doing all of the things all the time, and you carry the weight of these children and families with you. And Renee, you do that with grace and a smile on your face. I wish you all the best. All right, it's Deb Napping. Oh boy, Mrs. Napping. Who's gonna make me laugh? I don't even know. Like 40 years, once again, started at Eagle, and then been at Pleasant View for a long time now, and you are such a part of the fabric of Pleasant View. First grade team will never be the same without you, and I know you'll still be part of it. Once you're part of the team, you're always part of the team. That's the way you all are. But thank you for all of your years of dedication. You've impacted countless families. You have carried burdens and joys of families and teammates over the years. And I don't know what we're going to do on Crazy Dress Day without you. It's epic. I don't know. Did you start Crazy Dress Day? I mean, if y'all don't know, Crazy Dress Day is the day before fall break where we all dress crazy at Pleasant View. And Miss Napkin comes out all the time. And this is not because of blast with that, but really, honestly, thank you so much, Miss Nappick. You have made such a giant impact. We will miss you dearly. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than thank you for so much of your time, your energy, your tears, and for all the things you've done for the students, staff, and families of Zionsville and Pleasant View. Thank you.
Thank you for all your support and my team members. And I want my work wife to come up and stand. We decided we want to have a silent auction. There are a few things like acetates that let's see, the gingerbread man. Now, highest bidder. These are the notes for the tests you take at the beginning of the year. Except you're changing it. And then let's see, we have a big red apple. My zoo windsock from about 100 years ago. Report. And then these on a typewriter. Has Mrs. Anzavino's name on it. And then this is a name tag for the Pan Am Games. And then what was the date on that newspaper? Oh, I found the mini page from 1987.
Okay. We are here to celebrate Julie Parks. And that deserves a big round of applause for Julie. Wow, she was at Pleasant View the entire time. She started as a reading interventionist teacher for SIA, and then became a teacher at Pleasant View. And Julie's love for learning was contagious. She could get kids excited about anything. I mean, you name it. Like, I think there's talk about the hoverboard that she was trying to help kids think about getting created. She had such a heart for learning and curiosity, travel, welcoming people in her home. She had her, you guys had a exchange student from Spain that got to come, and I'm telling you, just the most loving person you will ever meet. She hosted us. She and Kevin would host us at their farm in the fall, and we just would have a ball. And together with a pitch-in for the Pleasant View staff and hayride, and Kevin had it all. We did the mini roast and the marshmallows and all the things. And you know, tonight we want to celebrate an amazing career that Julie Parks has had in Zionsville and at Pleasant View Elementary. The countless students that she has ignited passion of learning for, and her legacy will continue to live on in all of her students and their families and her family. And we are just incredibly blessed to have known her and to have loved her. And we wish her the absolute best. We are looking forward to celebrating her on Thursday. And Kevin is here to accept her well-deserved retirement recognition. So, thank you.
I would like to invite Chris Devereaux to join me, please. Make sure Andy gets a good seat. One of the distinct pleasures and challenges in my role is being privy to various life-changing events for the incredible people who serve this community. Tonight, we've celebrated over a dozen colleagues who've made it their life's mission to educate youth. Some of tonight's retirement celebrations were known to me 5 years ago through an internal process we used to keep our succession planning in order, while other decisions that were made recently were under some stress of a life-changing event. In any situation, each of these people honored tonight have left an indelible mark in our school community, and for their service to our schools, I will be forever grateful. But of all of these announcements, perhaps one of the most difficult timelines for me to maintain quietly was the decision by Chris Devereaux to retire from education after 19 years in ZCS and 30 years in education. Chris is an educator through and through and is the epitome of what it means to be a lifelong learner. After stints in Pike Township, IPS, Westfield, and Butler University, I was fortunate to cross paths with Chris for the very first time when we were both named to the assistant principal roles for the 2 middle schools in our district. Chris was impressive from the very start, a true collaborator and problem solver. Chris was a force in the successful opening of Zionsville West Middle School and became a constant source of energy and inspiration as the district worked to continually improve and build upon a legacy of excellence. In the early days of a leadership journey with ZCS, building leaders were tasked with many other district responsibilities.
I had to look today, but when Chris first started, we had only 5,045 students in the entire district, a far cry from the 8,000 students that we serve every day now. As we grew in size, the focus of our core mission of individual student growth became increasingly relevant as we wanted to elevate the student experience and provide quality materials and supports for our teachers in the classrooms across the district. So after serving as assistant principal at Z West and then principal at Z West, Chris was elevated to the role of director of academics and eventually chief academic officer and finally the assistant superintendent of teaching and learning. But beyond any title, Chris has always served as a student advocate, a family partner, and a trusted colleague and leader to everyone involved in ZCS. Chris is a middle school teacher at heart, so I always knew we would work well together. What I didn't know back in June 2007 is that when I met her, she would make me and everyone around her better every day in our pursuit of serving children. Chris has always shown thoughtful consideration of inputs, research, and data when constructing her own path of growth and in coaching and shepherding that growth in others. Chris is known for her intentionality and focus and striving to get to yes for our students each day. She's taught those around her that our words matter and how we all need to be intentional with making space for everyone in our community. Education is a people enterprise. And dealing with people, both big and little, we all know can be super messy. But when things are tough, Chris listens to learn, seeks to understand, and then asks questions to continue learning. She is someone who routinely reminds us that as human beings, we are better than our worst decision we have ever made, and we grow from our mistakes. Some people will know Chris as someone who shows her care for others by frying a ton of bacon for a meeting, by cooking her famous artichoke dip for all to smell, or bringing along the gluten-free pumpkin muffins to fuel a long day of instructional work. Some will know her for her calm, pragmatic leadership and ability to find clarity in a sea of ambiguity. All have known her for others and belief in the good work that we do together every single day. From material selection and onboarding all new teachers to professional development for all instructional professionals, you, Chris, have been a driver of our core mission. When we saw beyond our measures of excellence and our students needed much more, you helped shape our comprehensive K-12 counselor program to become a beacon of our Strong in Every Way work in this community. Through your leadership, we've made significant progress in ensuring that ZCS students experienced connected, safe, high relationship learning environments that made the strong foundation for academic learning possible. You also collaborated with countless professionals to refine our evaluation model into one focused on educator growth because our students deserve teachers who are supported and inspired. Chris, I can't thank you enough for the years you've spent dedicating your life's work to ZCS, for being the most incredible thought partner and answering the call no matter the need. From book suggestions and podcasts to recipes and tips on personal journeys, you have led with purpose, provided guidance wrapped in love, and will remain an incredible source of inspiration in our continued work in public education. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a few words for really everyone here in this room. When I look back on the chapters of my career, I'm amazed by how many of them were written by all of you. There's a chapter on collaboration, another on making mistakes and growing through them, and one on innovation. But the longest, richest chapter is about love. Loving the people we serve, loving those that we serve with, loving what we do, and loving the fact that we get to show up to this amazing place every day. If I were to write a full book about my 19 years in Zionsville, it would be full of stories and plenty of laughter. For those who've worked with me for a while, you already know there will be a few reoccurring themes. My obsession with words matter, my love of get to know you activities, my personal mantra of let's get to yes for kids, and of course, my library of Snoop Dogg sayings for every occasion. Everyone you meet has a part to play in your story. Some people get a whole chapter, some just a paragraph, and others are those scribbled notes in the margins. But every now and then you meet people who change your entire book. You have changed my book. You stood by me when my husband had his stroke, when I lost loved ones, when my own children struggled, when students, family, and staff needed our support, and when I made mistakes. And you showed me more grace and kindness than I probably deserved. You've made me laugh, made me think, and sometimes just sat quietly beside me when there were no words. I'm walking away with a few lessons bookmarked, that the quietest people in the room are usually the ones we need to listen to most. That leadership is helping people see that a problem is actually an opportunity for possibility. That we are all much more than the worst thing we've ever done. And truly, everyone belongs here. I know I always felt like I did. I have been fortunate to spend my career surrounded by people who touch hearts, who find small joys in each day, and who still believe in doing good work with good souls. Many of you have asked what I'm looking forward to most in the next chapter. My answer is simple. I've lived by a school calendar for 51 years, since I was 5 years old, so I cannot wait to make a dentist or hair appointment without consulting a calendar. Andy and I will probably still wake up early, stand in our kitchen and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by holy silence, because how else would we know how to start our day? But I can tell you that in that moment of silence, I'll be thinking about how lucky I am to have known you and this place. So as I close this chapter, my hope is that in your story, I was maybe a paragraph, a line, or just that quirky character with lots of curls and a loud laugh, who brought in homemade breakfast treats, picked up your favorite Starbucks drink, or sent a text message of support when you needed it most. Thank you for being my favorite book. For me, ZCS is a masterpiece.
Thank you all so much for joining us so that we could honor our Teachers of the Year, our Service Award winners, and especially our retirees. You are free to leave at this point before we start the regular board meeting, but thank you so much for being here.
For a few hours.
Oh, thanks so much. Got it?
move through the rest of the board agenda. It's like it's just us Thank you, thanks everyone. The next item on the agenda this evening is public comments. Is there anyone who has signed up to speak for me? Is there anyone who would like to speak? If not, we will move forward to the superintendent's report.
Yes, good evening, board members. For our first report out this evening, I would like to invite Catherine Mosier, Executive Director of the Zionsville Education Foundation, to share some exciting updates about the work of staff. Thank you, Catherine, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'll make this brief because I'm definitely not the reason everybody's here tonight. We're here for our educators, and I want to help celebrate that and tell you a little bit about some of the educators and the work that they're doing. Just real quick, I'll run through a couple quick updates just from an awareness standpoint. We're really trying to connect with our families early and really welcome and celebrate those that are joining our community quickly or right now at the early stages. So we are doing Kindy Club signs and really engaging and trying to find new ways to reach the younger families and the earlier students so that they can benefit from what ZEP has to offer while they're here. We also have continued to do our Eagle Honors, and we have updated that. And I personally love this piece because we can really honor anybody in the district, any educator, and I can't tell you how many times in our office we have been just marveling at the comments and the praise that has been given, particularly if it's an elementary school kid and we write verbatim exactly what they write for their teacher, or if it's a senior that's graduating, sending one to their second grade teacher. It's really special. We have our two major fundraisers. We have the dates, and this is just an awareness. Saturday, November 7th is the next bash, and Friday, February 26th is our next trivia night. More information will be forthcoming in our communications and on our website. And really what I want to celebrate again is our educators, and we've been able and fortunate to give out over $110,000 this academic year. Thank you. Across our 5 categories of grants, and that has just really been special to be a part of that and to hear all of the great ideas. All of that would not be possible though without the educators. So, this is just a couple photos from our grants parade, which is one of the most fun days of the year for us, where we go and surprise everybody. And this is from this past spring, where we gave out $72,000 in grants in the past spring. And it's really because they come with the great ideas, the creativity, the willingness to go the extra mile. And really to kind of highlight that just a little bit, we have a couple of grants in action. This is something that we're going to be doing a little bit more of, but just to show you just a taste of just how cool our educators are. Jen Gibson and Jill Phillips at ZMS brought in an art mix nonprofit to really help with the curriculum and engagement for our functional academics and life skills students. That culminated through multiple sessions with a art show at Solomon Munn's. I think that was it last weekend or the weekend prior, 2 weekends ago. And I can't tell you how magical it was to see the students and their families and their extended families celebrating their inclusion and their ability to really engage with art and art expression in a very meaningful way. That was very, very special. We also have Joey Hewitt and really the kindergarten teachers at Eagle Elementary. They brought in just the coolest toys and playthings that really allow students to challenge their critical thinking and think about building in STEM at a very early age, those life-size blocks. And these are things that the kindergarten team there is going to use for years. And it really has made quite an impact both in the classrooms as well as in their extracurricular activities. And finally, Jess Showalter in the high school saw an empty space and thought, hey, let's have an classroom. And so she went through all of the work and everything to bring that together and bring that to fruition so that students are able to learn about biology in the natural world, so that they're able to have classes outside and really engage in a fun space. So these educators have really gone above and beyond. I have provided summaries of the grants that we have funded this academic year if anybody's interested in learning more. And just I want to thank all of the educators in the room and not in the room for allowing us to do this work.
And as well an extension to the grants committee and all of the committee members for the various events that have been planned, all in support of our classrooms and our teachers. So we appreciate the partnership and the support of ZEF every single day. So thank you for attending this evening. Up next, I would like to invite Vice President of the Skillman Corporation, Victor Landfair, to provide a construction update. We also have two of our Zionsville Community High School student interns with the Skillman Corporation. We have Luke Piefler and Dane Carr. And gentlemen, you're welcome to come forward as well, or you're welcome to stay seated if you prefer. You stood the whole time leading up to this moment, so if you'd like to stay seated, you're welcome to. But thank you for being here, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Kaufman. And board, appreciate the opportunity. We've got this all orchestrated and planned, so they'll be up in a minute. But thank you again. We'll take a minute to kind of give you an update. Sort of every 2 months we give the board an update on construction, and then kind of in the theme of celebrating special humans, I've got some special humans that we're going to talk about our work-based learning at the end of the presentation. So thank you, Dr. Kaufman. First, going to start with the project here on campus, the high school locker room addition. Hopefully you've noticed that. We're coming along well. We've got our second floor slabs, our exterior walls are up, we've started the existing locker room demolition. So you recall, as we're building new locker rooms, we're also remodeling the existing ones. So that remodel piece has started as we're wrapping up the new addition. Of course, you can see from the photographs, we've gotten our brick veneer is nearly finished. We've got interior concrete walls, mechanical, electrical, roofing. So our building envelope is nearly complete. You're probably aware of the water main relocation. That's in progress, and we won't elaborate on that, although I'm sure the high schools are aware of that. I can say we're going to have brand new pipes very soon, and those days are behind us. I think Mr. Schaefer probably, if he was still with us, would remind us that water line has been here a long time, and we've touched it most of the projects that we've been involved. So we're on the last leg of the last piece of pipe that will be replaced that goes back maybe 50, 60 years on campus. So there's a photograph of the new addition of the brick, and we'll be seeing interior. There's some shots of the interior. Of course, we have it's a two-story addition, so you have the lower level locker rooms, you have the upper level multi-purpose space there. So you see that we've got the structures in place. We're finishing up some of our masonry, and we've got a busy, we'll say 3 months ahead of us with completing the brick, finishing the water main, the roofing, the windows, interior walls, sort of wrapping up all those components will be well within that 60 days. We'll also be starting as soon as school's out, a very important part of this project, which is introducing the new circulation path and the new parking lot configuration. And I'm going to call it, it's not a roundabout, it's kind of a circular entrance drop-off loop. That'll be a major part of this new configuration for the entrance to the wedge. So we'll be starting that. We will be doing interior finishes, and we'll be putting flooring. I will say it's going to be a photo finish right at the beginning of August for this project, at least for the new addition. And the renovations will continue into the fall. Our target, I think, is fall break. So we hope very much that we can have this ready for first day of school, but it is construction, so we will beg your forgiveness if we have a little bit of fine tuning to do before the first day of school. The Early Learning Center, I think last time I told you we're going to go vertical, and we're definitely going vertical with that project. If you've not noticed, the foundations are in place for the masonry. the underground electric. That allowed us to start steel erection, which is well along, roof decking. We've got masonry walls going up, slabs on grade are getting very close to being finished. We've started exterior stud framing, so we're starting to enclose that structure. And of course, all the mechanical equipment that comes along with that. And we've been working on the geothermal wells. And the board's going to hear more and more as we report on this project about the energy efficiency and the systems that we put in place in this building with geothermal and solar. We'll be talking a lot more in the future about those systems as they come online in the second half of the project. Our team put together kind of a photo shot. Here's February 25th, we've started our structural steel. Here's April 6th, where we had a significant amount of that, and then this was May 5th, and you can see all the structure, call it the front of the building, that big sweeping curved component is structural, got roof deck, and we've already started the exterior walls. That yellow product is the exterior sheathing that goes on before you put the brick. So we're starting the building envelope as we work on setting the steel in the individual classroom wings, which will continue on for another 30 days or so. So, next 60 days, we're going to finish our steel erection. We're going to finish all the concrete slabs, both on the slab on grade as well as elevated. And another important milestone is the gas pipe relocation will be completed in the next 60 days. So we're getting ready to start that, I think, at the end of this month. Now we're going to continue working on the stud framing next masonry walls. Of course, overhead mechanical and plumbing systems. Might have some pictures of pumps for you, and then maybe not next 60, but next 90 days, Mr. Cousin. And we're going to be doing some more asphalt work. We'll continue on the geothermal wells. A lot of work with putting those wells in and starting roofing and interior studs. So starting to get that enclosed. Our goal is to have that building enclosed so that we can work through the winter on finishes, be ready the following year. As we sort of, I don't want to say winding down, but as we're finishing the locker room addition on the south side of the building, we're gearing up on the north side of the building for the important auditorium renovation project. So far we've been just doing a lot of planning where we've got our permits, we've started our selective demolition, and some interior concrete ramps to go in to make it more accessible, and modify the sort of the slope of the floor to make it more usable. And an important component is the scaffolding. We call it a dance floor. We're going to put a whole scaffolding system inside the auditorium so we can do all that overhead work. That's a critical piece for us to work. And then we started our mechanical, electrical, plumbing rough-in. This photograph of where we're at sort of in the demolition of the stage. There's a picture of the dance floor going in place. And then equally important, and lots of things going on this summer, is our summer district-wide improvements. We've gotten our permits, and we actually got an early start on a couple of components. Temperature controls, those systems that operate your HVAC, have started both at Union and Z West. And we got some sidewalk replacement done over spring break at Z West, Boone Meadow, and Stonegate. So we're excited to have a little bit of an early start on those components. There's a photograph of Z West concrete. This primarily kind of tells you in the next 60 days, we've got a lot of work going on. Just as a reminder to the board, at Union, Z West, Boone Meadow, and Stonegate, we have intercom and fire alarm work. At Eagle, we're redoing that front entrance canopy and columns. At Z West and Z Middle, we're doing some work in the auditoriums, primarily sound, some lighting, and some flooring work. And then both, are they still called auditoriums, or the auditorium space, cafeteria? Back in the day, it was called an auditorium. I don't know if you still use that term. Z West, Boone Meadow, and Stonegate will get new asphalt, entirely new asphalt, and a large amount of concrete replacement there. We are redoing the track at Z West. And then at the high school, of course, in addition to the major auditorium work and some work in the PAC, we'll also be doing an auditorium stadium sound system replacement. So we've got lots of things going on this summer, affecting not all your buildings, but an awful lot of them. And so we're looking forward to reporting a successful summer in a couple months from now. With that, I'd like to invite Lindsay, Dane and Luke up and talk a little bit about one of the things that we're so excited about, and we've really, Zionsville Schools was one of our first partners, is our work-based learning program. We're doing it across the state and multiple school districts. You met my son about a little more than a year ago. He was one of our first interns here at Zionsville. That continues on with Dane and Luke, and we're making plans for this fall too. But it's become a big part of our engagement and working with partners in schools. And it's, you know, we do all this work on high schools. Why not take advantage of the students? And I guess my last comment is we think we benefit as much as they do from this experience and our people. So with that, I'll let Lindsay tell you a little more about it.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Craik. I'm the departmental coordinator at the Skillman Corporation. I'm also a former teacher. So work-based learning and internships are near and dear to my heart. I really enjoy what I get to do in managing our internship program. And so a little bit of my process is I have this great partnership with Kyle Marshall at the high school, who's the work-based learning coordinator. A lot of my recruiting efforts start in career fairs. So the high school has a career fair in the fall that I attend, and often the project team comes with me. We speak to students not only about our company, but also the industry in construction, architecture, engineering, since we're kind of working with all of those people on our projects, and the trades as well. And then from there, I'll talk to students about the internship program and gain interest at that way. Kyle and I also work throughout the semesters on finding students to place in the internship, and then there's an application process. So they put together a resume, a cover letter, send that to me for review. From there, I'll schedule an interview with the student, so they get a lot of these real-world experiences with getting ready for their professional lives in the future. I will then do the interview. From there, we'll make an offer, and then most of my students start either in the fall or spring semester, just depending on timing. And then they'll be with us for a semester. It's going well. We'll extend to the spring semester, and then keep going from there. So I've had some interns who've been with us junior year and come back with us also during their senior year, just depending on timing when they join us. And then a couple of other things that I'm involved in that I want to highlight. I have regular check-ins, both with Mr. Marshall, on how things are going, how he can improve the work-based learning program, how he can support me, how I can support him. And then also ongoing check-ins with the interns. I'll pop in on site, see how things are going, check in with my teams, make sure that they have the supports that they need to support the interns to be successful in the work that they do. And it's valuable work. They are positively contributing to the team so that the projects that you guys are seeing come up in the district are getting done and done well. And the interns are an integral part of that process. It's not just busy work, they're part of the team. And the last thing I wanted to highlight that I thought was really cool that Mr. Marshall set up with me this semester was that we're trying to do more of is classroom presentations. So he set up an opportunity for some different periods of time where I came in and I spoke to the women who are in his engineering classes. And so it was a talk where I got to speak to all of the young ladies in his engineering classes in that department about what I do, about the industry, how to get into the industry, what I like, what's hard about being in the job that I'm in, or the industry. They got to ask me a lot of questions. I talked a lot about the internship as well, but also what I know about internships if they decide to go to college, what it's like to go into the trades as well. And then there were even questions just about personal life and what it's like being just a person. So I thought that was a really great opportunity that we set up as well, another component of our engagement with students. But you really want to hear from our students, our interns. They tell the best stories based off of their experience. So I'm going to hand it over to Dane and Luke.
Hello, I'm Dane. Ever since I was younger, I've been pretty interested in construction, just how things are built from the ground up. So when Luke actually told me about this internship opportunity, I was super excited about it and ready to start up in school, especially with work-based learning. It's a great opportunity, especially during school. I was able to get in hours and just be able to work with the Skillman team. And some tasks that I've done with the Skillman team are take photos on the job site, label the photos, do site safety checks weekly, upload things to documents needed for progress meetings that we have almost every week. and then report any issues on the site onto Autodesk. How I've been able to support the team is just by organizing the materials, even if it's taking out the trash or just sweeping the floor in the trailer. Also just tracking online progress, whether it's through photos on Autodesk or through Ecom, and then just communicating with my team members overall. Some achievements I've been able to accomplish are just learning how to navigate a job site safely. Like, for example, there are a lot of operating vehicles there, so putting yourself in a safe position is always important. And then I would also say another achievement is learning kind of the construction lingo and how people talk to each other and communicate with one another. Some challenges I've experienced, well, first off, just taking photos. I really didn't know what I was taking photos of at the start. And just on top of that, labeling them. It was kind of hard for me to learn the whole process of it, and I wanted to thank Nick Coleman and David Toby for being there to support me through that process. Another challenge I had was going up to construction workers on site. They're not the nicest looking people, so it definitely was a struggle for me. And then a little bit of intimidation when going up there as an intern, talking to people with a lot of experience. And some skills I learned throughout this internship are responsibility and communication. Communication because, I mean, I was talking to people either out on the site or back at the trailer constantly. And responsibility because you got to get to work on time, get all your things done within the day. And my future plans, I'm going to IU next year for general studies, and eventually I want to own my own real estate company and redo houses and stuff like that.
Hi everyone, my name is Luke Peebler. I'm a senior in Zionsville High School. Construction's always interested me, so when I found out about this internship, I was all in. Some of the tasks we would do during this internship were be taking weekly or daily progress photos for all the Zionsville sites. We would also be emailing contractors about anything they're missing for any of the jobs. And we'd also make sure any tasks they asked us to do, or our managers had asked us to do, we would get them done. How I supported the team was I would always, if they have any, like I said, any tasks they ask me to do, I could always get them done for them. Like Dan said, taking out the trash and any sweeping or anything that needs to be cleaned around the trailer. I would say some of my biggest achievements were gaining a bigger understanding of how to read drawing sheets, because when you first walk in and look at a drawing sheet, it's confusing. But I definitely say I've learned at least the basics of them, which really helps out. Some of the challenges I faced were definitely navigating all their websites and stuff. It was kind of difficult learning because you're walking into a website that people have a ton of experience in, know what they're doing, and then you're just like, what is this? I'm kind of confused. So yeah, that was one of my achievements. That was also one of my challenges, I would say, is that. And then also another challenge was, like Dan said, was talking to people out on the site, knowing they have 20 years of experience, and then when you go out there, it's kind of nerve-wracking talking to them. Some of the skills I learned were definitely being time management, because that's a big thing in construction, is getting stuff done on time. And I feel like I've learned a lot from this internship. And in my future plans and goals, my future looks like I'm going to Ball State for construction management. And yeah, thank you.
Any questions for this group? Well, we appreciate the opportunity to highlight this special group of people, and we are looking forward to continuing these opportunities with other Zionsville High School students. Thank you, appreciate it.
Lindsay and Dane and Luke, thank you so much for coming tonight to share about your experiences, and I'm very thankful the two of you have made this successful with the support of a lot of adults, because we know we have students who are interested next year in pursuing this opportunity. So thank you for the way you've approached your time management and making this a successful opportunity so we continue to grow it for other students in years to come. And Mrs. Mann might meet you at the back for a quick photo. We appreciate you being here tonight to share your stories. And the last thing that I'll share, oh, excuse
I did have one more question, Victor, on the update, I'm sorry. Could you clarify, you said like, so the Eagle Loop and then I just call it the Eagle Loop, the lollipop.
It's good name.
The Eagle,
It's better with lollipop.
that will be ready for the start of school,
Yes.
and then the locker room additions will continue through fall break?
That's right.
Okay.
What our goal, right, I guess I'm gonna say, the lollipop and the site work is our #1 priority, because we want that ready for first day of school. We're gonna be right down to photo finish on the new addition, turning that over for occupancy for first day of school also. We're gonna continue to work on the remodeling of the old locker rooms through the fall, probably till fall break in that range. So we've worked out sort of access issues, and we can access the new addition and still work on the remodeling. So those are some details. Is that true?
That makes sense, yes, thank you.
I think Dean Luke should come up with a good name for lollipop or
The Eagle Loop?
Eagle Loop.
whatever it is. I think that should be like their capstone project.
The capstone project. Excellent name.
Robinson now? Well, okay. Well, if they come up with something different, I think that would be a great opportunity.
Sorry, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Finally, what I just wanted to share as I close out the report this evening, recent information, so recent we don't even have the media kits for all of the announcement, but Zionsville West Middle School, Zionsville Middle School, and Zionsville Community High School have all been recognized as a distinguished Project Lead the Way institution, which we're really incredibly excited about. For their commitment in increasing student access, engagement, and achievement in PLTW programs. So just even looking at our 2 middle schools alone, the 5 teachers that are there for Project Lead the Way coursework, we have 1,908 students this year who have participated in Project Lead the Way coursework. And so all of that feeds into exactly the experiences that our 2 students spoke to this evening as they consider coursework that's available to them at Zionsville Community High School. So really excited about that distinguished honor that our 3 secondary schools are receiving. And we'll be sure to celebrate them additionally when we have more information. But we're really pleased, and we want to celebrate those teachers and their school leaders for making that a strong emphasis in our schools. And that concludes my report this evening. Thank you.
Any questions or Dr. Kaufman or comments, discussion? If not, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is consideration of the consent agenda. Is there any questions or discussion about that item? If not, is there a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda, including minutes of previous meetings, personnel special requests, which may include overnight out-of-state field trips, acceptance of donations, disposal of surplus equipment, ACA and security equipment purchases, ACA semi-annual reports, contract renewals, non-renewals, and attorney-vetted actions. Also the monthly financial report with claims in the amount of $8,832,019.25, payroll in the amount of $5,204,918.36.
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Read the donations.
Yep, the Stonegate PTO received a donation of color printer and ink at $321.98 from the Media Center. At Union, the PTO donated blank writing books for first grade authors at $394.44. They also received books at the cost of $438.50 for their 3rd grade classroom libraries. And additionally, they received $277 for cafe aprons. And finally, at the high school, Chad Buckles donated $500 to the ZCHS band program. Thank you for the donations.
We have no old business to consider this evening, and the first new business item, number 7A, is consideration of the roofing bid.
Yes, board members, Mr. Doublestein was not able to be present this evening, but you'll recall back at the March meeting, he requested permission to advertise the Zionsville Community High School varsity gym ballasted roof replacement. In accordance with Indiana law and Board of School Trustees policies, that project was advertised for consideration. You'll recall that that stretch of the roof is from 1997, so it's certainly exceeded its expected life, and we wanted to take advantage of some of the opportunity with the construction projects that are underway to be able to access that portion of the roof for replacement. In proceeding with looking at those opportunities, we did receive a bid that's here for your consideration this evening. It did come in below what we anticipated when we were anticipating the market and the activity associated with this particular replacement. So we're recommending to proceed. And you can see that Technical Assurance has also helped tabulate those bids that are shared for your consideration tonight. So I ask for your consideration, and we recommend approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board or discussion? If not, is there a motion?
I move to accept the bid from Henry C. Smither Roofing Company and authorize the leadership team and technical assurance to execute the contracts as depicted within the scope of the project as presented.
Second. So a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Next new business item, 7B, board policy revision.
Yes, board members, thank you for putting this on your agenda this evening. This is a first reading only. No action is requested tonight. But this is following the 2026 legislative session where there has been a change through Senate Rule Act 78 authored by Senator Rotz to require Indiana school corporations to adopt a policy governing the student use of wireless communication devices during the school day. School day is defined in the law as the time a student is present on school property for instruction, so that bell-to-bell concept. This particular act also amended the definition of wireless communication devices to include all cell phones, tablets, laptops, gaming devices, and certain smartwatches capable of voice messaging or data communication. There was also added definition about school-sanctioned wireless communication devices, and I'm pleased to report that our bring your own device approach that will be in place for our rising seniors next year, that can continue under the law. That does sunset in 2028. So through your work, you've prudently been planning on the requirement for the school issue devices, and our plan does not need to be amended moving forward. But the act itself does require the school board to adopt a policy that, one, either prohibits student use of wireless communication devices during instructional time and throughout the school day, and allows for teacher-directed instructional use only on school-supplied or school-sanctioned devices if the school does not provide devices for the next 2 years, and requires the devices to be powered off, stored, and inaccessible to the student for the school day, or a prohibition from students from bringing such devices to school altogether. So it's either a secured storage, powered off policy, or a prohibition against cell phones and other wireless communication devices. The law also provides several mandatory exceptions that are noted. The policy cannot prohibit a device when it is used as required by an individualized education program, an IEP, or a Section 504 plan, when it is necessary to manage a documented medical condition with provider authorization. A great example would be continuous glucose monitoring with some of our students, as authorized by the superintendent during an emergency. The policy may not prohibit when needed for language translation for multilingual learners, and may not prohibit prohibit when an audio recording device used by a student is unobtrusive and used for personal education note-taking if the device is designed only for spoken word capture and does not record images or video, is visible to school staff, is available for inspection upon request, and complies with consent laws or recordings made by such devices, and may not be used for disciplinary or evaluative purposes against students or employees. So you can see in the item presented to you, what has been shared are some suggested edits from the Indiana School Board Association. Thank you, board members, for attending the spring regional meetings where the attorneys at the School Boards Association discussed some of this need for policy change to occur ahead of the 26-27 school year. So you have some suggestions from ISBA. What is outstanding at this point in time, the law does require the Indiana Department of Education to provide model policy language as well as model guidance, and that has not been constructed and shared with school districts at this time. We do anticipate that at any point, but knowing we wanted to make sure the policy would be ready ahead of communications for the start of school, tonight is a first reading so that we can answer any questions that you may have, take any direction that you're interested in seeing, and ask additional questions so we can come back at the June or July meeting with a final policy for your review and consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
I had a couple of questions, and maybe just observations. So, in the first sentence, we're talking about may bring but is prohibited from possessing in or using a wireless device. And it seems kind of clunky to me, I guess. The wording, you can bring something, but it's also a prohibited device. So that language seems kind of counter to each other. I think, if we can go back, I think that came from
ISB.
So, I think if perhaps we were just going to say a student may bring, but is prohibited from using a wireless electronic device, I think that makes a little more sense to me rather than saying we're bringing and prohibiting possession of possessing. I think it would be interesting to see what the legal team has to say about that as it is pertaining to what the law says.
Okay.
I think another question I had, it deals with the school day, and I appreciate you kind of elaborating a little bit more on the bell-to-bell kind of thing. An area that may be a concern or maybe a conflict there deals with those out-of-state field trips or during the day field trips that we're authorizing our students are taking. Where the law seems kind of fuzzy on that, maybe to me. I'm not a legal scholar, but I think we want to have those students have that ability when they're traveling during the day, which normally may be something that they learn in class, to allow those students to have those cellular devices. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, what might be there.
I do, thank you for that question, because we do have students, certainly in the field trip example that you've provided, and I think of some of the locations where our students have recently visited. The art trip in Chicago, for example, there were many locations that did not accept cash, so students were encouraged to either have a credit card or Apple Pay was the recommended choice for that particular trip. We can continue to dig in on that particular question if that is allowing school boards to have a local decision to determine the allowable uses, and maybe that could be incorporated into allowable uses. I appreciate that because evening extracurricular activities are excluded from the particular language of the bill. So they are talking about use in that bell-to-bell time. So for middle school, as an example, 8:45 to 3:45, that it would need to be powered off and inaccessible in a locker first thing.
Maybe follow up on that. I just have to think of this. So have students that go to J. Edward Light. I don't know what their policy will be. Obviously, we probably need to have some alignment or understanding what that would potentially look like for those students as well.
I have not personally had conversation with North Central to know where they are in their stage with their school board considering the need for this policy. But you're exactly right. Our students, especially, we heard from our students tonight with work-based learning, and we had students engaged with 66 partners in the community. There is going to be a need for our students traveling to and from, either to check in or clock in, even with some of our work locations. Some of our students as well in dual credit courses will need access for multi-factor authentication with some of the coursework that they're experiencing, as well as a few other examples. And so there likely are going to need to be well-defined exceptions and procedures and protocols to meet those expectations.
Thank you. And maybe, I guess, the last piece, and I think it kind of comes from the law as well, but the last sentence of the new text, I guess, is we look at stored away, powered off, and inaccessible to students. I think you gave a little more elaboration, Dr. Kaufman, as you were talking. That seems kind of as well, it's like, it's inaccessible, is that, if it's turned off in a backpack, is that acceptable? Does it have to be in a locked-in car? It just seems kind of...
That word inaccessible did come up quite a bit in testimony as this bill was in play during the legislative session. And so while the law states that the device does need to be inaccessible during the school day, it is silent as to what exactly that means. There were many school corporations asking for clarification. Does that mean districts need to pay for a secured pouch or some sort of other storage opportunity? And so it has been suggested by authors of the bill and those who are interpreting the language for there to be flexibility so that inaccessible could mean backpack, could mean locker, could mean vehicle. But again, I think we'll see some clarification when we get the model policy and model procedures from the Department of Education. And I hope that will be soon. We've requested and they know that we're anxiously awaiting.
Is there, a possibility, maybe may have already done that, we could give, here's some suggested wording in between.
We did discuss, at least the feedback we shared was a broad interpretation that would be long-standing, would be beneficial, especially as we have students that are traveling between schools to JDL to work-based learning environments. That flexibility would be key.
And I would also probably say with the new block scheduling too, so there will be students that are just going to the library or, or just going to the ledge or something too. If they have like a free period and they're gonna go to the ledge, I would hope that, I don't know. I just think that there's gonna be a lot to work out. In the high school, I think the middle school and elementary, I think that's different, but anyways. That's a lot to think about.
And just a comment to that, I think the law obviously covers, like the lunch period.
Right.
It was something I was thinking that students would be there, but obviously the school day, the bell to bell, that's going to be a challenge, I think, for us to have that available to students. So we'll see what the Department of Education comes back with.
It was, the clarification we received with school day did include the lunch period and the pass-in periods as well.
Any other questions or discussion? This will be back on the June board meeting for a second adoption. Hopefully give an update from PTO meeting at that time. Otherwise, if we get to July, we have time to roll this out for the start of school.
We would certainly be able to, in electronic communication, share additional information if we have to wait until July. Some of our printed pieces would already be sent to press, but we would be able to make sure an update is provided to families so everyone can plan accordingly.
to Jane and Dr. Kaufman. The celebrations tonight were just really well done. And I know you worked very hard on that, Janet, and everyone for capturing that. And thank you. It was just really, really wonderful. And I'd like to acknowledge Robin Nelson and Lynn Kissel for carrying us through. It was a lot of great opportunity to celebrate wonderful people, and it certainly was a team effort to bring that to life. But thank you to those two for making sure that we had our eye on all of our people that will celebrate it tonight. Ditto. Thank you.
Oh, I guess I put the something on top of it. Oh. I just try to keep these. Thank you. Bye. Congrats, Jan. See ya.
I mean, I'll be putting that report together, but it's just time for the other. We also have a sandwich board that we can put out that says, you know, athletic entrance this way. You can put anything you want on it. If you want to create a poster.
Feel free to call Ann or Ann Hall or I if there's like, I don't know, some craziness going on. People are dropping off to the parking lot or something.
So hard.
Yeah.
To hear all that. Yes, we will do it.
Okay. Because I don't want you to have to deal with it. We will.
Yeah, let me.
Well, congratulations.
I can't hear this.
Yeah.
I'm missing it. Thanks.
Yeah, watch the screen. The only downside was the stand. Yes.
And the elementary's principal. All the principals were like,
Yeah, no, we're gonna do it in the morning, that's what I was telling you, don't, yeah, we got plenty of time. We're tired, we've got all the, I brought in food today already, so we have to carry all that in, and so most of it. No, we're gonna do it in the morning. I mean, we're not starting till 9:15, so we got plenty of time. Okay. That's why we wanted to let you know. Okay. We're like, oh, no.
I can come over early and help you move and tell me about it.
Barely, we'll be fine. We'll be fine, but thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Totally fine.
Okay, got going. What are the things like that? So all the napkins, but these are just water. Thank God. They were absorbed. So
Looks like the tea got, or the lemonade. Hi, Chuck. You know, thank you, Robin. Thank you.
does this go to?
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
Where you're going, I'll